everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Lori, and this has been requested. So we are going to do a 5-episode series this week. Oh, sorry, I just totally bashed you in the head, didn't I? We're going to do a 5-episode series on self-love. So it's been something, you guys know, it's something that I promote with myself and all my clients. It's all about self-love, right? Because remember, you're the only human that you're going to spend 100% of your life with. So you want to make sure that that's who you're loving, right? So like something as simple as going to get coffee, right? Here's a little coffee, is a version of self-love, right? But it goes a lot deeper than that. So this first this first episode of the series is going to be on prioritizing yourself, because that is a big, big part of self-love. So let's unbox it a little bit about where we lose that self-love, or maybe we never had it in the first place, right? So if you weren't kind of given the tools that you need in life because of somebody else's unhealed trauma, it's going to become problematic, which is essentially what happens, right? When people, and it's something that I say all the time, you know, when people are raising you, when you're being born to these people, they can only give you the tools that they have or the limited beliefs in which they carry. And some of that is that self-love is not a thing. Maybe they don't even know how to do it. So you might not have had the tools in the first place. And I think too, for older people, and maybe even now, but definitely for older people around my age, I'm 51, even a little younger. I think growing up, like, you know, you were told, oh, be selfless, be selfless, be selfless. Be seen, not heard, speak only when spoken to, like all of these things that were like massively controlling and not great, like definitely not right for your like mental health at all. And so one of that is that in your brain, you might think that putting others in front of you is this like martyr human thing to do. Hard pass. Nope. No. And the reason that you have to be your first priority is, again, you're only going to live with yourself 100% of the time. It's nobody else, right? Number one. Number two, you're getting this whole selfish thing all screwed up, okay? Because you're never selfish for putting yourself as a priority, ever. Now, other people aren't going to like it because they may not know how to put themselves first. They may not like how you put yourself first. You know, like this morning, I went and did the gym workout. That's my time. That is my priority. I don't care. I mean, barring it being like an emergency. It doesn't matter what people need, what people want. I'm not responding to anybody. I'm not checking anything. This is me time, which makes me a better human and a better person and a better coach, a better everything, because I have that time. So I want you to kind of start switching that narrative that everybody else has to be put in front of you, your kids, your spouse, your family. Yeah, no. And remember, just because you're related doesn't make you family. All right. Literally, you're related by blood. That doesn't make you family. You can have no blood relation and be way better family. So don't get all caught up in your head. And this is where you have to be careful when people go, well, family first. No, you first, always. Not a little bit, not every now and again, always. And the reason being is when you're good and you start filling your own needs, which we'll talk about in another video, but when you start doing that, your codependency becomes less. You're not as lonely as much because you got you, right? Because I tell this to people all the time. You could have 8,000 friends. You could be married, you have kids, and be super lonely because your expectations start to come into play. People aren't you, and they do not have to respond to things like you would. Stop expecting you out of people. That's not self-love. That's, hey, I need you to fill my void. Hard pass. Right? So a true definition of putting yourself as a priority is, and again, we're going to go through this because this is all about that self-love, but is simple things. Well, they can be simple if you let them be, by, you know, giving yourself something, learning something new, right? Somebody told me years ago, learn one new thing a day. Maybe it's let's say you're taking a foreign language, learn one new word a day. Learn something new every day. But at the end of the day, you are your priority. Stop letting the ego, which comes into play, stop letting the ego come into place and see like, well, if I don't do it, it's not going to get done. Then don't let it get done. Not everything needs to be done. And it doesn't always have to be done on your way and your terms. But to prioritize yourself, you're not going to be so caught up in those little things. And that's just true. Because when you don't have self-love, you find yourself being very irritated with people, if people aren't responding as you are, if they're not doing the things that you think that they should be doing. Like there's a lot of things that come into play that you feel like, what is wrong? Why can't I have connections with people? Because you don't have one with yourself. Stop worrying about everybody else's judgment. Stop worrying about everybody else's opinion. It's literally irrelevant. Irrelevant. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's your mom, your spouse, your sister. I don't care. Because let me tell you why it's irrelevant. Just like yours is irrelevant to them. Let's be fair. It's not just them that's relevant. Your opinion of them and judgment is completely irrelevant to them, right? And let me explain why. And I've said this before. A person's judgment can only come from where they are in their own mental space, what their limited belief systems are. I say it all the time. If somebody doesn't like flying and you now tell your sister, hey, I'm thinking about becoming a flight attendant or a pilot or whatever, and she goes, I don't know, like you have kids, like do you really want to do, whoa, why are you inflicting your autobiography onto me? Your fears don't matter to me. If I want to go skydiving and I have 4 brand new babies, I'm going to go skydiving. Your opinion of that is irrelevant to me because you think, well, what if something happens? Okay, why are you throwing your fears onto me? And don't do that to other people. To prioritize yourself, this is the caveat, because there's always going to be, it's always going to be about you, for you. But here's the important thing. To prioritize yourself means that you're not focusing solely on what other people are doing, saying, acting, not doing. You're not worried about that. Because then you have to be careful, because now you're interjecting your own insecurities and your own fears into somebody else. That's not being your priority. That's you not dealing with your stuff. And to be your priority means you handle your stuff. You allow yourself to accept the mistakes that you've made, all of the things along the way, and you love yourself for it. And we're going to definitely talk about your inner critic, which is the worst critic on the planet for yourself. So we're going to have to like notch that down, and we're going to tame him down. We're going to tame him down, seriously. But to prioritize yourself means whatever it is that you like, or whatever you think that fills your soul, and you might not know what that is. You might have to try new things, but you do it. You do it, and you make that time. It doesn't matter. I'm not asking you to neglect anybody. What I'm saying is you have to be first, because when you're first, you also teach these other people how to allow themselves to not be codependent, so they can also live their best life or how they want to do it. So instead of thinking this feels selfish, think about the selflessness of it, because you're giving somebody by example, you're leading by example, the tools that putting yourself as a priority is an important factor. You don't need Bob or Tiffany or John or Lisa to fill your void. So by you taking that time, they may not like it in the beginning, but it also shows that it's a non-negotiable. In turn, also showing them like, hey, it's kind of okay to like put myself as a priority. But you got to realize, like, that means if you get up in the morning or whenever you choose to get up and move your body, as long as you're physically able to, it doesn't matter if you want to, do it anyway. Because to put yourself as a priority means you have to also look at yourself as a priority. What are your needs? It's filling your own needs. And these are the important factors, because you get so busy worrying about other people's opinions or what they're not doing or what they are doing. Inward. Remember, you cannot heal, you cannot love yourself externally. It's internally first. Everybody else is icing on your cake. We're mammals. Yes, we crave human companionship, not at the cost of yourself. So this is an important factor for you, because when you allow yourself to really do the work that you need to do and put yourself as a priority, you're going to be so much happier. And it may be isolating. I tell this to people all the time. When you first start your healing journey and on it, you will lose people, and that's okay. Stop trying to feel better, heal on your terms, keep these people around. That's codependency. We're definitely not going to be doing that. So it's not that I'm not asking you to care and love other people. What I'm saying to you is stop putting them first. Your needs are so important. And in order to be adequate, and so you can provide those needs to other people, you have to have a full cup. You ain't having a full cup if you're angry and worried and trying to please everybody. You're never going to please everybody. Not your job to do. Your job is not to worry about how somebody else is like going to respond to you, what they're going to do if you say or do something incorrect in their mind. Why are we worried about that? Right? Because I'm not asking you to be selfish. I'm saying put yourself as a priority. So in turn, all these other relationships do become stronger. They do become better because you understand that now I'm good. I can also respect people where they are. Instead of wondering why they're acting the way they are, you just either accept it or you say that just doesn't serve me and you move forward because you understanding why somebody does or doesn't do something is not a priority. That's an ego. Your ego says, why is this happening? Your ego says, I need to know. That's ego. That is not putting yourself as a priority. So that's going to be number one. Remembering that you do deserve to be first. Without that, you ain't going to have self-love. That's a fact. So let's prioritize self.